Hi everyone, today I'm going to cruise through my top 10 PowerPoint tools. So number one on my list is guides. Guides are a really important way to keep your page organized, and the best way to do this is right-click, Guides, turn on your guides. I'm also going to turn on my dynamic guides, and I'll show you what those do in just a second. But the first thing I like to do when I create guides is create my margin. So basically, I like to create the edges of the page that my content will not run over. And basically what this does is it just kind of creates some breathing room on the edge of your page. It makes your content align and keeps everything organized. All right, so dynamic guides, as you can see as I move these boxes around, you can see that there are red arrows that are kind of indicating spatial relationships between items on the page. And that is the benefit of dynamic guides. It will also help you kind of click into place. If you look to the left, it's clicking into place to align with that other box. And it just helps. It's a quick, easy way so you don't have to use the align tool, which is my second tool. So align is really great because some people think that something that isn't exactly centered isn't noticeable, but once things are aligned and centered, it does make a big difference. And so if I were to just kind of drag this microphone in here and it's close to center, but not quite, if that were to happen to all of them, you would definitely think that it looks a little disheveled. So align is up here under arrange, align, and then as you can see, you can do it to the left margin, the right, to the center, you can do it vertically or horizontally. So I've got those together. I'm going to group and I'm going to align this with the bottom of that item and the right of this item. And here you go, it's perfectly in place. All right, my next tool is crop. So the great thing about crop is that you can not only size pictures vertically and horizontally, but you can also do something called crop to shape. And what this does is creates any of these shapes that you would like here, and it will obey the vertical and horizontal measurements. And again, you can go back in and change those if you have a specific shape that you're trying to get to. I think these were both, oops, I want to retain my aspect ratio there. That when you click this checked box, it retains the ratio of width to height. And so I'm going to put that ratio in there. And now, as you can see, he fits in with the rest of the team. All right, next is format brush. I call this PowerPoint's matchmaker because it will retain any of the formatting from one item to another like item. And so as you can see here, I'm going to select this type that I want the type below it to look like. Click the format brush and then highlight the type that I want it to apply to. So as you can see, what I've highlighted has retained the color, it has retained the font choice, and it only is what I highlighted. So you don't have to do it to just a box. You can select specific words to call out. Another thing you can do is the format tool on photo. So this is the photo I want the photo on the right to look like. I select the photo, click format, click the next photo. It retained the outline and also the drop shadow. So that's a great tool if you need to create uniformity quickly. Next is the Freeform Shape. This is great when you need to make a shape that isn't a straight line, circle, box, triangle, etc. So under Freeform Shape, it's this icon right here. And basically, let's just say that you need to create a custom journey map or line. So let's say someone is doing a presentation about medicine and how it works. So you ingest it, then it moves over to your stomach, it goes through your stomach. And again, to create each of these points, I'm just clicking. It goes up and then it affects your heart. To stop creating a custom shape, you double click, and then there you have it. You've got your custom shape right there. Okay, next is the selection pane. This is really great, and if you're on a Mac, it's sometimes hidden. So under the Arrange tool at the very bottom, you'll find selection pane. And as you can see, I've already labeled, but you can go in and label in the selection pane, which really helps if you're doing things like animating, or you have a lot of things, a lot of items on a page, and you need to work within the layers quickly to bring something to the front. So I want my content at the top. I'm going to drop it right in front of these devices here. And then you know what? The phone actually needs to be ahead as well. So there we go. And as you can see, I've got my devices here, and it just creates a nice back end format that's easy to understand should someone else need to get into my files. Number 7, merge shapes. So this is a great item if you want to create something that is quote unquote hollow. And so what you do here is you take the shape that you want removed from the shape behind it, go to shape format and merge shape. So these are a lot of the functions you would usually find in Adobe Illustrator, but you can mirror them or mimic them in PowerPoint. So I'm going to click subtract. Oops, I did that wrong here. All right, take the shape from the behind, the shape you want removed from it, go to merge shapes and subtract. There we go. And so as you can see, this is now a hollow shape. You can see through it. And then there's another item that I really like to use under merge shapes, and that is to intersect. So let's say I want to call out the middle portion of this Venn diagram. I really want it to stand out. And so what I'm going to do is I select all 3, and I want to select only the intersection of these 3 shapes. So there you have it. And I can go to my format pane, make it a really bright color, and voila, it is automatically the exact correct shape, and it is the brightest thing on the page. All right, next is master colors. So all the time I hear that we need to change the colors. It needs to be in a different brand. So what you can do with master colors, go into View, Slide Master. And this tool right here is the color. So you are looking at the master layouts. So what is selected right now is a green scheme. But if you go to customize colors, you can actually change these accents to be something different. So let's make it pink instead of green. I really like the color pink, and you can make it anything you choose. If you have the hex codes, that's always helpful to make sure that your brand is compliant. But all right, so let's see how this works. We're gonna save that. And as you can see, in the master slides, all of what was green that I just changed to pink has been obeyed. And even in our working slides, you can see that this color palette has obeyed that. Please note that this will only apply to things that you used using the master color palette. So when I say that, I mean these shapes up here. So if you assign something a specific color, one of these down here that's not part of the theme colors, it will not obey the theme change. It will be its own specific color. All right, so chart templates. This is a really great way if you use charts a lot to create uniformity in your chart. So I've got a chart here that I don't really want to look like this, but it's what PowerPoint kind of gave me. And so what I'm going to do is get rid of some of these formatting choices, and we'll see how it turns out. All right, and I want to, there we go. All right, so let's say that this is what the chart that I want it to look like. All right, so I'm going to do save as a template, and I'm going to call this my template bar chart. Save. All right, and so the next time I need to put in a chart, let's say I've got another chart coming, I can go to Insert, Chart, Manage Templates, there we go, and Template Bar Chart. It's right here. It's already ready for me. As you can see, I use a lot of these. And so let's just make an example. Let's do 40, 50, 60, 60, 50, 50, 40, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14. All right, so let's see how this chart looks. And as you can see, this new chart that I've just kind of put new numbers in has retained the formatting that I just changed. So it's got the white letters, it's got the pink series here. And so this is all great. Even this oddball gray that I forgot, that is retained in the chart templates. That's a great way to make uniform charts so that everything looks uniform. All right, and finally, group. Group is the most underrated tool. You can do group by right-clicking, or you can do it with a keyboard shortcut. Obviously, I use keyboard shortcuts a lot. It's just so much faster. So let's say that you've got items here, and we need to make this woman move to the top of the leaderboard. She's now number 1, he's number 2. But instead of having to drag each of these to the top one by one, I can just group the whole thing. And by doing this, I can either right-click and select group here, or there's my keyboard shortcuts. I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut. Again, Option Command G, group, and now I can just drag him to the bottom and she is at the top. Great job. You did a great job this week for your team. All right, everybody. So those are my top 10 PowerPoint tools, and I hope you have enjoyed and that I can save you some time in the future.